can see me. Okay, so the next part of the Nyan cat costume, I like to evaluate which things I want to make next. And in conclusion, now that I have the skirt is the most important one, because how do you get a grey cat if you don't have a grey outfit? So to me, the grey skirt was the most important thing. And then out of the next two is the grey top or the cake vest. And my conclusion is that the cake vest is more important because I can wear another grey t-shirt and call it a day. But it's harder to get a replacement for the cake vest. So next time we're gonna make the cake vest. I'm very lucky that I have scrap fabrics that seems to be a good colorway. So I don't have to buy new fabrics for the bread color of the fabric and the pink color of the fabric. Even though it's a bit darker than I would like it to be, it is still great. All I needed to buy is the beads that I want to use for the jams. Yeah, so I got them. I got these from Daiso. You can see them like this. You can see them. I've got these from Daiso. Yeah, but I don't think that's enough. Actually, I got them in a pack of mixed color pink beads, so the 1/3 of it, I only could use 1/3 of it because only 1/3 of it is hot pink. Yeah, I also bought more seed beads online, so those are waiting to come. I don't know, I'm not so sure. If I want it to be scaled correctly to the drawing, then the round red pink hot pink stuff needs to be a lot bigger. But a lot bigger will not look as good, right? Seed beads are a lot smaller. I don't know what I'm really gonna do. If I'm gonna make like long sparkles or round dots. But yeah, that's quite fun. I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be a quite fun project, but I don't know how practical this thing will be after the stage. But yeah, I have a very big dilemma on stage outfits because I know that for stage it needs to be shiny, but once it's shiny I won't wear it on a normal day basis. So I'm very conflicted. That's why this skirt is kinda not shiny. Kinda not shiny. Because then I think I'll wear it on normal days. Yeah. Get ready for the simplest pattern making ever! I'm using this as my reference. This is a sweater vest. And I got this one about not big enough for this. Here's the pattern. Actually, I realized there's some lines that I cannot decide if I haven't made the borders yet. So logically, I should have started with the borders first instead of the vest. But yeah, the vest. Time to cut. So the first thing I did after I cut the pattern and I tried it on, I realized that it doesn't fit through my neck. So so I have to adjust it a little bit so that it fits through. I know there is seam allowance, but I want it to be easily fit through, so it needs to fit. It needs to at least go through with the seam allowance on. Then next up was to adjust the shoulders because of the pattern I copied. It was a drop shoulder, and I was still wondering if I wanted drop shoulder or not. So I don't know, I just kept the drop shoulder so I can cut it later. Also the armhole, because my design intention was that I would tie the straps to close the vest, to put on the vest. So I need the ties to be at a comfortable height for me to tie. So yeah, after a bit of contemplation, I've adjusted both the shell and the outer fabric. So now that's what it is, and it's gonna be bag lined essentially after I finish all the fancy stuff on the top. So it's too much to think about how bag lining works here. So because there's a neckline thing. So my solution now is that I'll finish the neckline of the outer fabric with bias binding, and then I would later on, after doing all the applique and beading work, I will bag line it with the outside. I'll sew it inside out at the outer shell, and then whip stitch the neckline. So that's the plan. So that's why I have to finish the neckline of the outer fabric, so it's easier to whip stitch later on. Yeah, that's the plan. So today I'm just gonna chill and sew the neckline of this one, and then my next step is to sew some straps. I've cut strips, so these are gonna be the ties. So I've already got them cut, so later I just have to iron them so that I can sew them into tubes. Well, another day, another continuation. So I drew the pink jam. Yeah, it's a lot of pieces scraped together, but that's the rough shape. If you look at Nyan Cat, he has like a straight jam line, but then I think wavy would be cute. That's why it's wavy. And then the front neckline is a lot lower, so this is the front neckline jam. So after I trace the back onto the fabric, then I'll cut it out and then trace the front. Yeah, one-time piece of. Okay, now that I have drawn my two cake pieces, I am not gonna cut them out. I am gonna trace it with thread, because I feel like that will make the seam allowance folding a lot easier later. So I'm gonna trace it with thread, and then I'm gonna cut the seam allowance, cut all the curved edges, and then I think I can try folding the seam allowance in, and it'll be super duper neat, I think. And the living room is quieter than my workspace. Here, it's the gem part. I currently have a little second thought about the bias binding neckline. I was thinking of making it a piping lining instead. So this piping and everything else also piping, then it looks a little bit like pixel art, but I don't want to do black. So I'm thinking of finding a slightly darker brown, maybe make it toasty, so a warmer brown. But I don't know if I have. It really depends if I have a fabric that suits. Yeah, but I'll make a border lining. Then it looks more like pixel art, even though that's not my intention for it to look like pixel art. So this is how the piped neckline looks. Am I regretting it? Am I not regretting it? I couldn't find another brown. This is a bit dark for what I like, but piping. I've notched some of the edges to keep the curve, so there's no going back, kinda. Because previously I didn't notch anything. Now I have to pipe the rest that I need to actually cut more bias binding because I don't think I have enough. Yeah, then I'll do beading. Yeah. Will it be obvious on stage? It's too far away. Okay, I'm not sure if I like this. I mean, I like it close up. It looks very nice close up. I like the scale when it's close up, but when it's far away, I don't know if it registers. So since I don't really know if I like this or not, I'm just gonna what's it called? I'm gonna base the piping on first. It's based on. Should I continue? Okay, really can't see it through the camera, through the mirror, so I deduced that this will not be visible on stage. So I bought some covered buttons from Shopee, and while I wait for that, I'll do this instead. And this is mock-up for borders, which needs a lot of work. Yeah, this is absolutely nonsense first mock-up. So I think I've done the thing wrong, especially the back darts, so probably that's why it's overall so small. And in my own pattern, I think I wrote that I need placket here, so I think that's wrong too. Other than that, why is this meeting but this not meeting? So I don't know. I just came home from work and buttons arrived, so I'm gonna buttons for the sandwich. Now it must be obvious enough, right? Yeah. So this is the update. For context, it's after Mother's Day, and I just have my first off day in 9 days. And then, yeah, I decided that this is gonna be it. There should be lesser beads at the back. I also added some cameos of little grey cats, just for funsies. Because all the smaller beads was probably not gonna be very visible on stage, so it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. And that's what I want to do. Yeah. Maybe I should add the lighter pink beads too. I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe it would be too much beads. Then it will be texturally annoying. Maybe. I don't know. There's like a detailed change in this is that I cut the slit and I finished the slit and added a button because this is supposed to be for a quick costume change on stage, but I feel like the neck hole is too small if I have a wig and a pair of ears on, so it might be chaotic. So I made a button slit thing so that I can take it off on stage. Yeah, So it's slightly bigger. Hopefully you will not interfere with makeup, not interfere with hair, not interfere with ears. There's so many things they might interfere with. Yeah. The best way to see if things are visible through a distance is by the mirror. And yes, the main pink dots are very visible from a distance. I guess it's successful. Yeah, the last step is actually just to sandwich this with lining. Yeah, that's why after lining it's harder to add stuff, because then all the raw edges, all the knots in the inside of the vest, you cannot access them after I line them. So if I want to add beads after, it's a bit messier, but it's still doable. Yeah. I really want to finish this before I go overseas, so I don't even know if I wear this overseas. I'm late for socials, so I'm gonna wear it to socials. Cute. Ties. I'm a sandwich. I'm a Pop-Tart sandwich. Let's go!